Elton, there's a lot of changes coming in college football. How will that affect the MAC?
Um, Commissioner Steinbrecher pointed to a couple of things that he sees coming down the pipe here. He foresees changes coming in the scholarship award limits in terms of students getting different monies depending on where they go to school and what that might entail. There's some coaches that like it, some coaches don't. He also said there's a chance for a new recruiting window for college football with early signing period, and seems to feel most of the coaches in the conference are in favor of that. So I think that's two things folks can look forward to coming down the road within a year or so.
Okay, last question. We can't talk about the MAC without talking about teams closer to us, Akron and Kent. What can you expect out of those two teams this year?
Well, I think Akron's going to contend. Akron's going to be 7, 8, 9-win team. Certainly have that capability. As Coach Bowden said, he's got the one thing he hasn't had since he's been there now, which is an experienced quarterback. We're back to that again. He's got an experienced quarterback, and that's going to mean a lot. He's got an experienced tailback. That's going to mean a lot. He's got a fairly underrated defense, although that secondary has some issues. So I think they're going to contend. I think they're going to win their fair share of games. Kent State's going to be interesting because they've always played the game a little bit more old school. They've always been a little bit more grinded out, definitely defensive oriented. Talked to Nate Terhune today, their defensive tackle, defensive end, and he kind of he said the biggest difference between last year when they struggled a little bit and the year before when they won the East Division is the defense generating a lot of turnovers. He thinks if they can generate their fair share of turnovers again, that they'll have a winning season. And I tend to agree. They got enough. They're not sexy by any means in relation to the rest of the teams in the MAC. They're not willy-nilly throwing the ball all over the place and all that. But they're solid. So if they get their share of turnovers, they got a great kicking game. They got the chance to be a winning team too, or even a contender, depending on how things break.